What's happening, all y'all YouTubers? Airborne here. I'm just gonna stick with Airborne instead of Airborne Vet because by now y'all probably already know I'm a vet, so stick with Airborne, and Airborne kind of says it anyway. So, welcome back, Airborne here, and by the thumbnail and the description slash video name, pretty sure you already know what's coming up. So, let's get to it, shall we? This is my AR-M4 black rifle, evil rifle. This is my SOPMOD Block 2 Franken-Clone. And I'm going Franken-Clone instead of clone because it's like semi-clone specific, but semi-not at the same time. And I'll divulge as we go. So, without further ado, from muzzle to buttstock and everything in between, let's get to it. So the muzzle is a Surefire 3-prong flash hider. This is their suppressor adapter model. So basically when I do get into the NFA game and I get a suppressor, the first one I will be getting will be the Surefire SOCOM series, and this will be a perfect host for it. So I have this, it is pin and welded right now. Beautiful pin and weld job. I mean, it is nice and flush. It's very well done. Can't argue with that. It is actually aligned using a shim kit. Let's see if I can get a close-up of that. See right there, shim kit. And the one surprise was that the muzzle device actually came with the shim kit itself. I didn't have to purchase that separately. It came with it. Now, I'm not sure if all of the Surefire muzzle brakes do, whether it be a flash hider or brake, or if it's just their suppressor adaptive models. I don't know. This is my very first Surefire muzzle device. But I thought that was really awesome. I mean, granted, shim kits are like $5, depending on where you go. But I thought that was pretty cool. But so this is technically clone specific because it's not the 4-prong, but it's the 3-prong, which is actually authorized on the clone list. And it's a host for the SOCOM suppressors, which are used. So again, authorized. It is pinned to a 14.5-inch ballistic advantage barrel. And I went with the ballistic advantage, one, because they were the only ones that had the option for the pin front sight base. But secondly, they just make phenomenal barrels, and they're like right down the road from me. So plus there. Granted, you can't go and pick it up, but literally they shipped it one day, it was here the next. And it's a 14.5-inch to be clone specific, but it's also not at the same time, because to be exactly clone specific, I would have to buy a 16-inch Colt barrel. Then I would have to get it cut down and then rethreaded. And I definitely don't know how to do that. Don't know how the tools to do that, even if I did. And I don't know anywhere that does do that. So I went with the standard 14.5-inch, which was great. I mean, ballistic advantage makes great barrels. The upper is ballistic advantage, and I got the stainless steel gas tube and AR barrel nut from ballistic advantage as well. And they did a phenomenal job with this thing. It is perfectly lined up. Like, it is squared away. It's not even off slightly. Like, if you look down it makes one continuous straight line. So they did a phenomenal job with that. The Handguard is the Midwest Industries 2-piece free float extended carbine length handguard. And this is semi-clone specific, but semi-not, because you see the Daniel Defense Riz 2s with the cutout, but they don't make those anymore. And the Knight's Armament is really expensive. I'm working off a budget here. But it's still technically semi-clone specific because it is extended past the front sight base. It does have the cutout for it, and it works. So it's semi-clone specific, but semi-not at the same time. But it's a phenomenal handguard. I'll have detailed reviews on all of this stuff eventually. This is just a quick overview of what I have into it and why. The vertical grip is the Magpul RVG or railed vertical grip. I went with this as opposed to like the Tango Down or like a standard just long vertical grip, because it's not overly excessive and it works for what I need it to. I can go old school and get a good grip on it and it contours to my hand very well, or I can get a semi C-clamp and it works very well for that as well. So that's why I went with it, because it contours well, it works well for what I needed to work with. Moving back, it's just a standard forged upper, which is semi-clone specific, but it's not cold. So it's not exact, but it's clone acceptable. The lower is a forged from Palmetto State Armory. So again, not specific. If it was specific, it would be from cold. It would have cold M4 carbine on it, yada, yada, yada. But it is clone acceptable because it is a forged lower. The rear sight is the UTG fixed slim rear sight. And I went with this one as opposed to some of the others because the slim is accurate to its name. A lot of the other ones have a big old knob right here, which could interfere if you want to run down and do a one-handed charging. This one doesn't. It fits nice and tight to the upper, and it actually extends back all the way, and it contours to the line of the upper, as where any flip-up sight, or like the Daniel Defense fixed rear, some of those, it stops right about here. So you have all this just exposed. I think this looks a little cleaner, adds a nice contour to the rifle, and it just works really well. It's UTG, but it's really well made. You can tell it's got solid clicks. You know, it's not cheaply done, but it is a less expensive version. The bolt carrier group is the Bear Creek Arsenal nitride finish. So it's not phosphate, but it's not nickel boron. It's nitrided, so it's got a little bit of lubricity to it, but not as much as like the nickel boron, but not as little as the phosphate would. It does also have actually those little cuts to it, and I'm honestly not sure why those are there. Functionality probably definitely looks cool. I don't know, maybe if like dirt debris gets in here, allows it to move around. I honestly don't know. If you know why, please let me know down below. The charging handle is the Radeon. This is the Raptor LT, and I went with this one because I like ambi charging handles. I've only used two. This is the second one. The other one I've used was the Bravo Company ambi. Most of the time I just stuck with the Bravo Company large or medium latched ones on the one side. But ever since I use that ambi charging handle, I don't know, I just really like ambi charging handles because it allows you to do more, operate more depending on your situations. If you're practicing with an arm down, if you're practicing left-handed or whatever, or if you're left-handed period, come back and so ambi charging handles definitely have their place. I went with the Magpul K2 Grip just for the grip angle, because I do have my buttstock in. I mean, it's not completely extended because I don't have like huge monstrous long arms, but I have it right where I need it to where when I tucks in nice and tight, and I can get a good sight picture right off the bat, and this is where I like to keep it. I have the Magpul ASAP QD here to run a Magpul MS4, which is their QD, and it'll coordinate with the rail. This has 4 QD points on it, 2 on each side. So I can either run it here, there, or I can just do a single on the back. It really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm running a course, or if I'm just have it slung for whatever reason. So it allows me various different modes, but also it'll coordinate with the buttstock I'm going to get. This is just the Magpul MOE. This is how I got it, and I plan on getting the Magpul CTR because that is clone acceptable. and it also have, you know, QD points. So I'll be able to run this pretty efficiently after I have it all set up. I still need to get a light. I will be getting the EOTech EXPS3-0 with the magnifier, because that's clone. That's a clone exact or whatever. I don't know, however you want to put it. But it's also what I used while I was active duty. I used the front, you know, fixed front sight base. You know, I didn't have this. I had the what was it, the Mag? I don't know. I had the flip up rear sight. I forgot what brand it is. If you know the brand, let me know down below because I forgot. And then I had the EXPS3, which is a great fucking sight. I love them. It's great. I'll probably put a cheaper one on here until I can afford the $1,100 to get one, but neither here nor there. I did, however, add the Magpul bad lever, just because it does aid in either, you know, quicker reloads, or if I'm just locking the bolt back for whatever reason. Ever since I used one of these, because I was like, I'm not going to need that. I can run it just fine without it. But a friend of mine actually suggested that I try it out, and I did, and I really loved it, so I put them on all my rifles or pistols now. Just a final note, I did weigh and measure this, and I got my little cheat sheet right here. So fully extended, just like that, it is 35 inches almost exactly. Fully collapsed, it is 31.75 inches almost exactly. Unloaded, there we go. Unloaded, it is right about 7 pounds. I don't have an exact scale. I was just using a pound scale. And then loaded, it is roughly 8.1 pounds. So not super, super light, but not really heavy either. And I believe this is a great option. This is definitely something I would trust my life to if I had to use it. I've only had one mag through it so far, just for a function test. Obviously, not this weekend. Next weekend, I'll be heading out to the range. I'm going to zero it in and get a few more mags through it and everything else. So I'll try and get some B-roll footage of that, you know, range update and whatnot. Thanks for watching. Questions, comments, leave them down below. I already know there's going to be a lot of people hating because this is not exact clone specific, but it's close. So go ahead, fire away. Let me know why you hate me so much because it's not an exact clone. Aside from that, if you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button. I've already got a couple out on my stack on gun cabinet I'm modifying. I'm going to be getting more of that out as soon as I do some more mods too. I'm going to be putting some shelving in and whatnot. Also, I just got the SBA3 bracing, so that's going to inspire another AR build, except this will be an AR pistol. So expect videos on that. And if you have anything you would like to see, please let me know. I'll do my best to do it. I am, you know, working on a budget, so no sponsor, no nothing. So I got to buy everything myself. So thanks again for watching. Hope to see y'all here in the future. And for now, this is Airborne Vet out.